Um, I want to be clear. Like, one thing about astrology, I know like there's many of us out there and we're like, oh, I'm affected by this, I'm affected by that. Cosmic intelligence is like 1/3 of your life. You know what I mean? You have your environment that you were raised in, and then the experiences that you went through that contribute to who you are as a being, right? So what sidereal astrology does, it helps me understand the imprint, and you understand the imprint that you were born with when you came in here. It also can be used for a system of self-check and empowerment. Okay, it's one thing to be able to look at your chart and be like, okay, this is about you, this is about you, oh, this is the stuff that's coming up. But then it's like, after you figure all that stuff out, it's like, okay, well, what's next? How do I get there? How do I break the blockages? How do I get more clarity? And through this system that I use, like, it's helped empower me. I'm working on my financial house right now, y'all, and that's actually getting better. So, and it's funny because like making money for me was never a problem. It was what to do with it, how to maintain it, how to invest it wisely. You know what I mean? And finance in itself has its own energetic spiritual body, but we'll get into that later. So, all right. So another thing, expectations. I want to be clear on expectations. I officially started reading charts around 29, 30 years of age. I'm 34 now. So, okay, wait, everybody mute their mics. I don't know what, okay, let me just mute. Because I hear some like stuff in the background. Hold on. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, yeah, I want to be clear that as far as the expectations, don't put all this pressure on yourself trying to become an expert astrologist like by the end of the series or by the end of this class. It's not going to happen. And because I understand a lot of people do that, this is why I just wanted to do something easy so that at least by the end of this particular lesson, you're able to identify what you're looking at, especially if you have a chart that I sent you. For those who signed up for like all of the courses, again, we'll have that private Q&A on the 1st of August so that we can explore deeper. And then each lesson that we explore, especially again, the people who signed up for all classes, like the who am I and why, the life purpose, the career, the love and relationships, those lessons are going to let us explore each depth, each certain houses at a time. Okay, because try to explore all 12 in one lesson isn't going to do it. So each lesson, there's certain groupings of houses that we'll kind of go over in this lesson that we'll go over. Lastly, the member's choice is exactly what that is. For those who like kind of participated in, those other 3 lessons, you all decide what is it that you want to do. Do you want to go further into the lessons we already explored, or do you want to do something completely different? Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do, oh wait, any questions so far? Raise your hand. No, so I can unmute you. Okay, so let's get down to the nitty gritty. Okay. Okay, so in the email that you all received, you should have gotten this packet. Okay, this is what this looks like. It's the introduction. It is the explanation of the North and South chart. It's also little directions on how to read through, and then activity 1 and activity 2 that we're going to do on this actual video. So I'm going to go to an actual chart. Okay, so those who got one from me, this is what it looks like. Okay, here's the first page, the second page, the third, and the fourth. The rest of the pages are just extra. I will not go over that. But what I want to do now is go over these elements of your chart so that you know what you're looking at. Everybody who's online that I can see your face, your chart looks like this, correct? No? Yes? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll go over both of them. Okay. All right. So what you all see, some of your charts look like this. Yes? Okay. Okay. Some of your charts look like this. Some of your charts look like that, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the South Indian first. Okay, so for those of you who have a South Indian chart, this is how you read it. So if you have a pen and pad out, if you printed it out, great. If not, do it later because you're going to have to write these in. Okay, so just like how this particular sheet described, okay, when we look at the South Indian chart, wherever you see AS, or sometimes if you did not get a chart from me, you'll see a line or two lines. That is your ascendant sign. That is your first house. That is for those who know their birth time, okay? So for those who have an AS in their chart, I want you to just recognize where it is, because these boxes are different constellations, and I'm about to go over those, okay? So the box in this upper left-hand corner, when you look at your chart, okay, same thing if I was looking at this chart, South Indian. This box here is Pisces, okay? This box here is Pisces. This box here is Aries, okay? This is Taurus. This here at the upper right is Gemini. This one is Cancer. This one is Leo. Here is Virgo. Okay. This box is Scorpio. Or excuse me, I'm sorry. This box is Libra. My bad, y'all. Libra, Libra, Libra right here. This box is Libra. This box is Scorpio. This box is Sagittarius. Am I going too fast? No. Okay. This box is Capricorn and Aquarius. Okay. Now, for those who have the North Indian chart, that looks like this. Now, with you all, now again, I'm going over signs, houses, then houses. Okay, I'll let y'all know how to identify each in groups. So for you all who have the North Indian chart, okay, yours is a little different. Whenever you see this position is always going to be your first house. Okay, so remember in the South Indian chart, I said that wherever you see AS, so it could be anywhere. It could be anywhere. AS, or on the South Indian chart, one second. It could be anywhere. It's not always going to be in the same place. That's going to be your rising sign. For North Indian charts, okay, your rising sign, of course, is where you see AS, but for North Indian, it's always going to be this upper diamond shape, okay? And the numbers that you see here, are the numbers of the constellations. So just like in numerology, numbers mean certain things. In astrology, the signs are assigned a particular number as well, okay? So let's start with 1, same order. Okay, number 1 is Aries, because Aries is considered to be the start of the zodiac. Okay, number 2 is Taurus. So for those with North Indian charts, as I'm going through the numbers, write down these constellations, okay? So 1 is Aries, 2 is Taurus, 3 is Gemini, 4 is Cancer, 5 is Leo, 6 is Virgo, 7 is Libra, 8 is Scorpio, 9 is Sagittarius, 10 is Capricorn, 11 Aquarius, 12 Pisces, okay? Now, I'm gonna go to the the South Indian chart again, because now I want us to identify the houses, okay? Which is pretty simple. And for those of you who do not have your birth time, I got you, so just bear with me, because you're not going to be able to utilize a rising sign if you don't know the time of birth. So again, when we are counting with the South Indian chart, you're going to go clockwise. So if this is your first house, this is going to be your second, third, fourth, 5th, 6th, so forth and so on. So South Indian charts, go ahead and fill that out while I go to the North Indian charts, okay? So South Indian charts go around starting from, you know, your first house, wherever that is, going in a clockwise motion. The ascendant house will always be your first, and then moving on second, third, fourth. Okay. North Indian charts. Am I going too fast? Because I know I speak fast, y'all. Let me give y'all a minute to catch up. Okay. All right, because I want to make sure I'm not going too fast. Okay. For North Indian charts, okay, once again, this triangle or this diamond will always be first house. This and with North Indian charts, you count counterclockwise, okay? So South Indian, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clockwise. North Indian, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counterclockwise, all right? So first house, second house, third, fourth, fifth, so forth and so on. So I'm going to give y'all some time to fill that out, because a part of this class is doing it for yourself. Yay! Okay. Now, if anyone has any questions, let me know, and I'll unmute you or whatever. Let me see who else. Markella, what you laughing at? I see. Don't be laughing at me, girl. Hey, Audrey. Okay. Good to see you, Darwin. Good to see some masculine energy up in this jank. That's right. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna still give y'all, you know, a little bit of time, because now we're gonna go into the houses and what they mean. This is just like really. Yes. Hey, Carrie, you have a question? Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I thought that the first house started with Aries on the top after the left on not this chart, the other chart.
Okay, let me see. This chart or this one?
That one, yeah. So where the key thing is?
Where the P?
K-E, I forgot what it's.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah, is that where the first
that is Aries. Good question. I'm so glad you said that. So let me clarify that for you all. Okay. So the world, right, has its natural zodiac order. Okay. That's what we just went through. Aries being 1, Taurus 2, Gemini 3, so forth and so on. That is the natural order of the zodiac. Okay. However, you have a whole different order of your zodiac. Okay, so the natural order of the zodiac, its first house starts with Aries. Your natural zodiac starts with your rising sign. Okay, so like for instance, just say full moon is in Taurus, and we're going to go by this chart, right? So full moon is in Taurus. According to the natural zodiac, okay, this is going to be second house energy. This is why a lot of, you know, blanket explanations of full moon and this full moon is that is because it's going by its natural order of its energy. So a lot of times when you see a full moon in Taurus description, it's about money or beauty, stability, finance, you know, femininity, sexuality, jewelry, like all the stuff that Taurus actually represents, right? But just because it's full moon in Taurus, which is natural second house, doesn't mean that's the energy specifically for you. Because for this person, tell me which house, if Taurus is right here and we know how to count houses now, y'all tell me which house is Taurus for this person.
Third.
Excuse me?
Is that third house?
Okay, why would you say third house?
I started counting from the upper left.
Okay, but your first house starts where? Where would this person?
Oh.
Go ahead, Carrie.
I forgot.
I can't hear you.
Is it the 8th?
Correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Correct. Why? Because this person's first house starts in Libra. Okay, and I understand why you said that, Sophia, because when I taught y'all, I was like Pisces, this, that. So I get why you said However, you know, the correct answer is 8th because this person's house starts in Libra. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, full moon in Taurus for this person is 8th house energy. Okay, so when I read a chart, or if I was to say, what's the energy behind this full moon in Taurus? I'm about to take into account both of those energies, the fact that it's 2nd house and 8th house for me. You know what I mean? And again, so here's another part, and I see the faces, so let me be real honest with y'all. When I first was taught by my guru how to do, or that when I was first told astrology is what I'm supposed to do, I was like, oh my gosh, what books do I read? Where do I go? Where do I learn? He was like, meditate. He ain't telling me about no books. He ain't, you know, and I didn't understand why he said that. And I realized because in order for me to really be a good interpreter, I have to be in tune with my own shit. I got to be in tune with my own energies that's in me, because now it's easy for me to recognize it in other people. You know what I'm saying? When I studied my chart enough to understand, oh, this is what this placement, how it shows up in my life. It ain't going to be much different when you read somebody else. You know, there's certain things to consider, but we'll bring that all together in the other courses. Okay, so the next part is the actual houses now. What do they mean? What do they stand for? Again, and for those who are in the upcoming classes, I'm going to email y'all this, but this is something that, you know, you all can really start to apply. So when we talk about the first house, I want everybody to identify your first house, and on your activity sheet, write what that is. What is your first house? If there's any planets in there, write that down too. And then when we go over planets, we'll start to understand the characteristics of each. But right now, I want y'all to understand, what does each house represent, okay? And understand what constellation it's in, because that in itself carries its own energy. So the first house is, again, yourself, your body, your characteristics, your life foundation. It also has a lot to do with the beginnings, your appearance, your efforts to get ahead, your initiative. And medical astrology, it deals with the head, new projects, personal interests, a lot of things. Again, you can do your own research, but again, as we're going through this, really look at, okay, here's my first house, here's the constellation that it's in, here's the planets that's in this house, and if there are no planets in that house, we'll get to that in a second, but for now, we're going over the houses. Okay, second house, fixed income, family happiness, the throat, the things that can mentally and physically harm you. Okay, this is a house that deals with substance, your resources, your income. This also gives insight into marriage life. What your your complement will bring to you, wife or husband. Personal wealth and possessions, and your potential of wealth as well, okay? So again, you all can kind of read through these houses, okay? But I want to kind of go back to the birth chart real quick, because there's other things on there I want you to understand. Okay, so you can take some time to kind of breeze through these houses while I pull up the other chart. Okay, wait, actually, let me pull up this. One second. Okay. All right. So back to this. So now that we kind of understand, okay, we filled out the constellations in our chart. We know 1 through 12, okay? And again, y'all have the meanings in that little sheet. I want to go over the other things that are in your birth chart. This is why I love sidereal astrology, because it takes it on deeper levels. Your moon chart, this is for those who do not know their birth chart, okay? They don't know their birth time. Your rising sign, of course, is the constellation that was rising in the east when you were born. So yes, there was a certain kind of energetic imprint, a certain kind of underlying foundation that you're connected to. The moon chart shows how you perceive, like how you move through life through your particular perspectives, how you react to things, how your emotions can, manifest or sabotage, certain things that you want to accomplish or go towards. So the moon chart is a second perspective that I use in order to read people. Okay, this is also very important. So not just your sun sign, okay, your soul self, but your moon sign, your emotions, like your ability to manifest. Your moon sign is also how I look into people's gifts as well, because intuition, spirit world, imagination, creativity, all that stuff comes through this principle of moon. Okay, and again, everything that I'm going over, all these areas in life pertain to you. All of these characteristics of these planets pertain to you. All these perspectives pertain to you. So even in the birth chart, okay, this here is like, okay, this perspective that kind of like surrounds me. Moon chart is like, okay, the experiences that I've been through, the things that I feel, certain things that I value. This is how, I'm maneuvering in these areas in life. Okay, the Navamsha chart, this is a chart that dissects another house in this main chart. And we'll get into that later because I don't want to confuse you. But this chart gives insight into life after partnership or marriage. This also gives insight into wealth potential. Okay. This particular Navamsha chart is called a divisional chart. And this is the page you have. It's like 16 of these whole. I'm not going to go through them all, but these are deeper breakdowns of the houses that are in your main chart. Okay. Everybody clear so far? Okay. So again, this section down here, again, just tells you your planets, your signs, your degrees, which are important. We'll get into that in a second. And then these nakshatras are lunar or lunar mansions, are constellations of the moon. Now, what the lunar mansions teach me is the different temperaments of humans. Okay, so it's like when I talk about using this stuff for self-empowerment, it's one thing to be cool and be like, oh, I read this and I can tell you this about yourself, stuff you already know. Okay, yes, I'm able to look into things and kind of see what's going to go on in the future, which is great, right? But another thing about this is if there's a certain weakness or something I don't like, certain blockages or obstacles, not only can I say, okay, this is my insight, but through these principles comes the empowerment, because I understand what I need to put together in order to break that blockage. And that is something that conjunctions teach us. Conjunctions are right here. K2 and Venus, this is a conjunction. Mercury and Sun, this is a conjunction. How well are the things you're putting in your life, your friends, your family, the ingredients that you put in a pie, how good is it about to taste? Do these ingredients go well together or do they not? It's the same principle with astrology. Some people's charts, some of these planetary combinations are friendly, some are not. You know what I mean? And sometimes when people go through life like, I don't understand why things are this way. Well, let's look at these ingredients that was stuck together, and you don't know how to water it down and break it apart or totally throw away the whole pie and make a new one. You know what I'm saying? Same concept. Okay. So again, the divisional charts, we understand that. Now, the divisional charts, again, it's a lot. I won't get into all of them, but when it comes to the love and relationship session, when it comes to the who am I and why, and when it comes to life, purpose, and career, we're going to go into the Navamsha chart, which digs deeper into marriage. We're going to go deeper into the Dasamsha chart, which goes deeper into the career. Okay. And then last but not least, Mahadashas. Okay. What this teaches me, these principles teach me that during certain periods in life, there are ruling energies, okay? Like certain periods in life, people were just having financial issues. Certain periods in life, like, and I'm talking about consecutively, it's like, oh my God, what the F is going on in relationships? Certain periods in life, it's like, oh my God, what's going on with jobs? Like, there's certain periods in life where this concentration of this area in your life, these things just keep happening. This is the principle of Mahadashas, okay? So again, when you say, all right, well, today is, what is this? July 25th, 2018. Okay, well, this person is in Mercury Rahu. Well, let me see how this combination is going. Let me do a self-check. Let me see what ingredients this is. Am I in alignment with this? Is my actions reflecting this? And if not, okay, well, how can my actions reflect this? And will it be beneficial? Again, this is just the beginning, but as we go through each of these lessons, y'all are going to see again how we apply these principles and find solutions and then create a plan. I don't know if Carrie is on here still. Carrie, are you there? But like I don't put people's stuff out there, but we recently had a session, and like by the end of it, there was clarity in goals. You know what I mean? It's like, if there's so much fog going on, okay, well, let's look at these ingredients you have going on. Now let's look at what areas in life is highlighting for you. Oh, you're not clear. Well, hey, this is the ruling energy right now. So if you are having a hard time deciding, apply these principles and see how that worked for you. Now you can develop a strategy. Now you can develop a plan, right? So again, knowing that, honey, my second house got 2 retrograde planets, so I got to put in double work of my finance. You know what I mean? It's like my spirituality houses is popping, networking is popping, you know, dating, that's cool. Finances, again, the ability to make it, not a problem. But when it comes to like holding it and learning that money even has a spiritual component to it. You know what I mean? So these are our principles to apply. Okay, so next thing I want to go over. Well, first, are there any questions so far? No? Okay, wait, let me go through here because it's goodness. Oh, Markella, what's up? I'm sorry, I had to go through all y'all. What's up, boo? Oh, let me unmute you. Okay.
So what about the degrees inside the houses?
Good. Okay, girl. Okay, now, honey. Okay. So the degrees, good job. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so let's talk about degrees real quick. Degrees are, well, first let me go here. Okay. Okay, so so this is good. So the chart activity number 2. There are certain conditions of degrees, and degrees help us identify the strength, okay? So let's just say I want everybody to pick a house that you're interested in wondering about. 1st to 12, it could be finance, career, whatever. And I want you to look at the planets that's in there. Now, if there's not a planet, if there's no planets in a house, I'm gonna show you how to do this, okay? Let me go through this real quick because I know there are people in here who have houses with no planets in it. Okay, so each constellation, okay, wait, let me press mute because I don't know what that sound is. Each constellation has a ruling planet, okay? So if there is no planet in a house, I have to go find the ruling planet. Where is it? All right, so for this person, Malcolm Little, Malcolm X, and I brought these people up for a reason because like they're empowerers. Now they went a little bit extreme, but you know, we'll get there in a second. Okay, let me go to South Indian. Okay, so for Malcolm X, okay, in his 3rd house, there is no planet, okay? But I know that his 3rd house, this box here is what? Somebody tell me what a South Indian chart. Who got a South Indian chart? Nobody? Really? Okay. Okay, go ahead. What's this house right here?
Is it Capricorn?
Almost.
Oh, Aquarius. I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Good job. Okay. So now the ruling planet of Aquarius is Saturn. So in this chart, what house is Saturn in?
The 3rd. Let's see. Oh, no. Saturn is in his 7th.
Where count from his ascendant.
Okay.
Is that the 10th?
The 3rd house?
No, it's 11th.
Correct, Audrey. Good job. Yes. So, right. So for Malcolm X, right? So the ruling planet of his 3rd house is in the 11th. So what does this mean? If I know that 3rd house is efforts, self-improvement, it's seminars, training, education, advertising yourself. It's all those things. So that means that his energy of self-improvement, seminar, and training had a lot to do with 11th house energy. What is that? Opportunities, network circles, other people, the power to achieve your dreams and your goals, right? So now if I look at the fact that Saturn was retrograde, what is Saturn? It's transformation, it's restriction, it's boundaries, and it's retrograde. So what that tells me, it shows me how this person, their efforts had a lot to do with training, teaching, seminars. He probably wrote, he probably had a lot of networking skills. And I'm also considering this 11th house energy. Oh, okay, well, he must knew a lot of people. He must have had the ability to make money from the people he knew. He must have had to focus his power to achieve his goals. But the fact that it's retrograde, who was trying to restrict him from achieving some things? You know what I'm saying? If I didn't know this was Malcolm X, this is how I would read this person. You know what I'm saying? And so this helps me understand, okay, parts of a person's characteristic and their life. And I know, like, y'all probably have no idea how I came up with that, but it's because I know these houses and the energy. So I'm gonna take y'all through the step. And Markella, I'm gonna get back to your question because I didn't forget. Yes, Joy. Coy, sorry.
Oh, okay, no problem. Okay, so can you said from the 11th house from the ascendant, is that because we went clockwise and came that way?
Good job. Yes, ma'am, because this is a South Indian chart. Okay, so and Markella, I'm going, what's up, Coy?
So when we were figuring out the houses, we went counterclockwise, right? But when
that was for the North Indian chart. It's different rules. North Indian counterclockwise, South Indian clockwise. Okay. All right. Okay. Now I'm gonna come back to this Malcolm X part because I wanna address Markella's question. So about the degrees. Okay, there's certain rules to degrees, and it helps us, discover the strength. Okay. And this is especially important for people born on the cusp. So if you have any planet that's between 0 and 1 degrees, it's considered an infant. It's considered weak. Okay. And why would that be? If a planet just entered 0 or 1 degrees into Capricorn, how much of Capricorn energy can it really express if it just barely went over the tip? Does that make sense? So if you have a degree that is if you have a planet that's between 0 and 1, that means that planet is not going to express itself at a certain strength because it's in an infant stage. So that means that energy has to be cultivated, fed, taught, constantly paid attention to, just like a baby, just like an infant. Okay. The other thing, okay, so now you have degrees 1 to 5. That's considered young. Okay, that's like toddler age. And just like humans, think about how people act between 1 to 5. They're curious, they're explorative, they're like, all over the place. They can be hyperactive as well. Needing their nap time or whatever. Y'all got kids. I don't know. I've never raised children. But y'all know how 1-year-olds and 5-year-olds act. You know what I mean? Okay, now 6 to 17. 6 degrees to 17 degrees and 18 to 25. These are called adult and mature. Okay, 6 degrees to 17 is adult, even though we don't consider that, in human years as adult, but 6 to 17 is really good. It's vital. It's ready to do the work. You know what I'm saying? Its expression is the physicality, like I'm ready to put in the energy. Whereas 18 to 25 degrees, which is considered mature, is more of a place of wisdom. Like, yeah, I get stuff done, but it's more from a mature perspective. I don't have to put in all that work. I know how to delegate. Okay. Now, when you have 26 to 29 degrees, that's considered old. Okay. So just like an old person, you have to kind of care for it to make it remember things. You know what I mean? Because it's forgetful. It starts to, like wither down if you don't, So that's the energy of planet that you constantly gotta, hey, wake up, don't fall asleep, gotta eat your oatmeal, something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so these different degrees kind of let us know the energy or strength that it's expressing itself. So now I'm going to task y'all with this. you understand how to read how to know your houses, the areas in life, the planets, and the degrees. So at this point, I would say, okay, have an honest assessment of yourself. So pick an area in life, okay, pick a house, and if it doesn't have a planet, again, I can keep going. So I'll say this. Let me go around this real quick. Write this down. The signs that are ruled by Jupiter are Sagittarius and Pisces. Okay, so wherever you have Sagittarius and Pisces, if Jupiter is not in that planet, find its ruler. If no planets are in that house, find its ruler of Jupiter when it comes to Pisces and Sagittarius. Okay, when it comes to the moon, Cancer rules the moon. That's the only sign that rules the moon. Okay, when it comes to Mercury, Virgo and Gemini rule Mercury. So again, if you have no planets in Virgo and Gemini, find Mercury. Okay, the sun rules Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun. Okay, it's Venus, Libra, and Taurus. Venus rules both Libra and Taurus. So again, same concept. Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. Okay, again, same concept. Now, you see KE and Rahu. These are shadow planets of the moon. They don't really have rulers. Rahu is the planet that teaches us about Dharma, right action, what we're here to learn in this life. K2 talks us about past life and also how to manage chaos and spirituality. And again, even if you don't become a reader of charts, these principles, again, as we go deep, we're going to see how the moon, the sun, the Mars, Venus, Mercury, all these are principles in you. And when you start to see and we explore different charts to say, you could really look at this person's life and see how this combination did not work out. So if I wanted to remix my chart, okay, well, what formulas would I write? These are things we have to know. And these are things we'll discuss in next session. There are certain energies that, just like on a periodic table or in a science lab, you could put two chemicals together. They're either going to explode or it's going to create a nice fusion. Same thing with people in your life, your job, you know, things you go after, your efforts. Is it a good combination for who you are? You know, does it have the right ingredients to be successful? Okay, so again, as we go through these areas in life, we're going to discuss these. Now, there's one last thing that I want to go over when it comes to the houses. It's the particular groupings, okay? And there's certain groupings that, wait one second, guys. There's certain groupings that I look to when I want to kind of give a, how can I say? It's like a grouping of assessments, if you will, okay? So there are certain houses that when you group them together, they're considered like the pillar of life, okay? This would be your first of self, okay? Your fourth of your home, your comforts, your emotions, the things that you own, your assets. You know, seventh house, marriage and partnership, not just partnership in marriage, but also business, right? And then 10th house of career. So if you take these four areas of life, of yourself, of your environment, your home, career, of your relationships and partnerships and career, like those really are four areas of life that like most people, when they do good and consider it successful, that like my life is successful. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing good within myself. My home environment's great. I own my home. I own stuff, whatever. Oh, my marriage, my partnership is great. Oh my gosh, business is going good. And yeah, my career, like I'm living it up. You know, so when people say, okay, what's going on? Like, what's my overall potential of wealth, or what ingredients do I need to mix and match in order? These are the houses that I group together. Okay. And read them at once. The second one is the Dharma house, the Dharma group. This is the group that gives insight to say, this is kind of why I'm here. Okay. This is again, first house of self, Fifth house, which also tells about intellect, romance, past life credit, spirituality, your spirit, like spiritual knowledge and teachings. This one aspect of it, but this kind of spiritual knowledge and teachings is the ancient stuff, not stuff that you're getting from experience. It's like ancient stuff that you're learning or tapping into. And then the ninth house, fortune, wisdom, luck, your father, philosophy, spirituality. That's the house of spirituality that you gain through experience. Fifth house is from past life. Ninth house, current life experience. Okay. So again, that's the second group, known as the Dharma houses. Okay. The third group is the reality and money. Okay. So those three houses are your second. And again, when you go over this, you're going to kind of understand why they're in these groups. Okay. Your second, which deals with what? Fixed income, the voice, family happiness, wealth, reality and money, of course. Sixth house is sickness, disease, obstacles, challenges. Because guess what? If you are not healthy, your finances suffer as well. And then also sixth house is also workplace environments. Okay, co-workers, the people that you work with. All right, and then 10th house, again, 10th house career, contributing to your money. Okay, and again, the reason why we got to go over these first is because when people are like, okay, how do I understand? How do I read? These are tools that's going to give you insight. The reading, the interpretation comes with the practice, like literally practicing it. And this is, again, why I kind of broke this up, because first hour lesson, second hour, we're about to get this practice in. And if some of y'all willing to use y'all charts in the other lessons so we could talk about it and reflect and really show, then cool. Like, that's how we learn. Okay, so these group of houses are the houses that get better over time. Okay, so for instance, when it deals with certain people not wondering why things are happening right now, like children, or when am I about to get this big marriage proposal, or when am I about to get this promotion? Certain things, certain houses are just something that gets better over time. So in these areas in life, we'll do ourselves a favor by just knowing, like, yo, it's just one of those things and I got to be patient. So that is your third house. Third house deals with efforts. Okay. Amongst other things. But again, these are the principles that I'm using when I'm giving a consultation in this area. Okay, back to sixth house. So sixth house is also one of those houses that gets better over time. 10th house, we already know what that is career. And 11th house, networking, opportunity, power to achieve your goals. These are areas in the life that improve over time. So stop being impatient with yourselves. Efforts, people you work with, career, opportunities, friends, they improve over time. The desires, okay, the house of desires. And this is very important because these are the houses that can get us in trouble, okay, if we do way too much. Again, third house, and third house particularly because, how can I say this? Y'all know I just got to say it how I like to say it because I love y'all and I'm talking to y'all like family. So there's some people who, like, mind you, we're capable of doing so many things, right? We are fabulous people. We can do so much. But because we desire to do something really bad, we don't take into consideration that either overdoing it or the timing or whatever that thing is may not be in our best interest, right? It's like sometimes our desires can make us slack in areas that really matter. I know for me, when I first found out all this information, I had a desire to find out as much information that I could. I didn't care about going to school, quitting jobs. And I was just like, now that I look back, I'm like, yeah, I got to really learn how to balance because, okay, so another thing with desire, some of us desire a relationship so bad. And I know I was one of these people. When I actually got into a relationship, I forgot myself. I was so wrapped up into this person, I forgot myself. Why? That was a huge desire of mine. You know what I'm saying? 11th house, networking, opportunities. Sometimes, again, I took on opportunities because I desired success. I ain't had no business. Not all opportunities are meant for me to take. You know what I'm saying? So I was not utilizing a proper vetting process. And I had to also learn how to create my own opportunity if some ain't coming fast enough. So again, through this house, it definitely gave me insight and tools. Okay, the market houses, death and responsibility, not getting into that. The Dastana houses are the houses that deal with adversity. Okay? These are areas in life that we say, this is where we get the most issues. These houses are the 6th house. Again, sickness, disease, obstacles, challenges, health, healing, a bunch of other things. Again, more research out there. 8th house, transformation, death and rebirth, spirit world, intuition, loans, other people's money, settlements, just all kinds of stuff. But 6th house, 8th house, and 12th house. 12th house deals with secret enemies, secret desires. Okay, so those are the 3 houses, again, that really give us insight into blockages. Okay, so again, just those, even if we say forget the houses, just forget the houses. If I say, yo, these areas or things in my life are my pillars, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever that may be, is going to define my definition of success. Right? So this is the thing about empowerment, like define your success, because I can only speak on me. I never felt good enough because my definition of success was never clear. You know what I'm always trying to impress or validate or whatever, because what I set no standard for myself. So even when I was accomplishing stuff, it wasn't good enough. I wasn't setting up anything to recognize me, you know? And then the other thing, the Dharma, I don't know anybody, well, okay, maybe there are some people on this planet, but mostly everybody that I know, they feel like they have a purpose here and they don't know what the heck it is. You know, like they know, but they need more clarity. Okay, so, and here's that empowerment principle. Okay, really looking at yourself. What are the things that are embedded in you? Like things that people didn't even have to teach you, things that you felt like you already knew. This is what 1st, 5th, and 9th house show us with these Dharma houses. A lot of your purpose deals with the stuff you already came here knowing what to do, how to do it. Okay. Again, your reality and your money. Some of us be in this spiritual fantasy. Okay, and forgive me when I say this, but this is so real. I had to check my involvement in the spiritual community because a lot of them, let me say this in a nice way. Their financial resources are not where I would want it to be for myself, in the sense of having a poor righteous teacher mentality. You know, it's like this association with, I'm spiritual, and if I desire to have resources and wealth, it's wrong. No, that's not. Like, I want my heaven on earth. You know, I don't have to wait till I pass. So for me, that's been my experience, okay? Different from other people, which is okay. Not all people, but y'all get what I'm saying. Okay. So the getting better over time, that just really helped me with my patience. Again, about my efforts, about my own self-improvement, about changing the people that I work with. I understand that the people that I'm around, that I attract, that I do business with, is a reflection of my ability as well. And you know how I see myself. The desires, again, you know, we understand about that. So again, those are the groupings. So I would like you all to now do this second chart activity, because now I want us to really look at our charts and go through our houses and really say, okay, so here's my first house, here's the planet that's in it, and now I want to understand the energy that comes with it. So let's do this exercise real quick. Everybody knows about the directions, right? Cardinal, fixed, immutable. No? Okay. It's okay. All right. So we'll go over it real quick. Okay. So cardinal signs. So these are the signs that initiate things. Aries, Libra, and Capricorn.
Okay. And Cancer?
I'm sorry. Yes. And Cancer. Yes. Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. Cancer. Yes. Correct. Okay, so again, whatever area in life is Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, how are you initiating things? How, assess yourself. Do you wait for fire to get lit up under you, or do you go after it? And if not, maybe we should switch that up. If it's an area in life you're not liking right now. Okay, so now go ahead, Coy. What's up?
I was going to say, okay, so when we got the cardinal sign, we're looking for the house.
Yeah.
Or are we looking for the planet?
You can look at all that. Like, okay, you can look at all that because and I'm just doing it in layers, but good job. Yes, absolutely. So when you look at your cardinal energy, correct. Okay, it's Aries, Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, and Libra. So again, understanding what these energies of Aries, what these cardinal signs are. So if we know that Aries is about focus on self, getting things done, being self-assertive, about initiative, about courage, being enterprising, being ambitious. These are all Aries traits. So in what area in life, okay, is it your first house, 10th house, 11th house, 12th? What is in this Aries energy? And is there a planet in there? And because if so, the planet gives it even more personality. If there's no planet in there, well, let's find where Mars is. And depending on where Mars is that in a cardinal, fixed, or mutable sign? Because if we know Mars to be this planet of fire and energy, and it moves into a water sign, well, what does that do? What does fire and water do? If it moves into an earth sign, what does fire and earth do? If it moves into an air sign, what does fire and air do? So so these are all energies, dealing with complementing that. And this can go into picking a partner, a friend, a job. Like all these things have fire, water, earth elements. And it's all about where you position yourself to do the flow. Now, okay, so again, when we keep going through these cardinal energies, knowing what Cancer is, it's all about support and feelings and home and, being a good listener and teacher and, appreciative and, there's good and bad sides to cardinal water, cardinal fire, cardinal air, cardinal earth, both good and bad. Again, we'll go into those in other lessons. I just want to get through, these main ones. So again, study Libra and Capricorn, know that energy. Know what planets are in there. And again, we'll get into the planet part after we finish fixed and mutable. Okay, fixed signs. Okay, these are what?
Taurus.
Taurus. What else?
Leo.
Okay, good job. What else?
Scorpio.
And
Aquarius.
Wonderful. Okay, so again, fixed is about maintaining and reinforcing things. Fixed energy is really good about, in things that are already established and stable. For instance, okay, a person with a fixed energy is going to have more issues being an entrepreneur versus somebody with a what energy? Somebody
mutable
or cardinal. Perfect. So, and again, like you said, Markella, when we're studying about the strengths and the conditions, and we didn't even get in conjunctions, we ain't even get into what planets get together and friendly or not, and again, you don't have to be an expert at all this stuff. These are just principles. Okay, so if I know I'm mostly a fixed person, or there's a lot of fixed energy in my constellations and the strengths and all that stuff, I realize I may have a harder time being an entrepreneur versus somebody who's cardinal. Okay, now here's another thing. A cardinal person is not the type of person, or is not always best at the kind of task where, how some people can work on a project for over a year or two. Cardinal people, we trying to get in, get this thing popping, and be out. We're, you know, a lot of Cardinal people, they're not there to stick it out throughout the whole thing. They're just there to get it started and move on to the next project. These things, again, are important when picking your job, your career, your, you know, all these things. So fixed energy, again, maintains, reinforces things that are already established. So let's just say if this fixed person with fixed energy, but wait, I don't like working for people. I still want to be an entrepreneur. Great. Well, tag on to somebody else who already got something started. Now all you got to do is come in and help keep it stable, because that's what you're good at. Right? So now mutable energy. Okay, the last 4 signs, what's mutable?
Gemini.
What else?
Virgos.
Mm-hmm.
Sagittarius.
Pisces.
Yep, correct. So Pisces, you know, we can go with the flow, transform things and events. You can, you're adaptable. You know, there's a good balance between being still and moving. Of course, the downside to mutable people being really fickle, being inconsistent, being full of contradictions. So what areas in your life are mutable, and are they fickle? Are they inconsistent? Do you contradict yourself? So what areas in life is in Gemini, Virgo? Now we about to be transparent. So who wants to volunteer their chart? Okay.
We have mine.
Virgo is mutable.
Go ahead, Sophia, Sonia.
Oh, I was volunteering, but who did I speak over someone else?
Oh yeah, no, I don't know. But I want you to speak. I mean, if you have yours up, I would like for you to assess, or, you know, whichever, a cardinal, fixed, or mutable house, and really like reflect on how that's showing up for you according to the principles that we just went over. And if I got to give an example, that's fine.
Okay. I can share my chart. I think I can share.
Yeah.
Okay, this is vulnerable moment, but that's cool.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a non-judgmental zone. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Let me pull it up.
Okay. Is everybody okay? Do we need to take a break? I feel like we need to take a little one. I feel hot already.
Probably before we go into this chart, right?
Okay, what y'all think? We need a little break? Wait, I can't see everyone. You're good?
I'm good.
Okay, everyone's good. Okay, y'all just want to get to it. Okay, not too about to do it. Oh, I just noticed people can type me on here. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me see.
Oh, the chat.
Oh, on the chat. Okay. Also, how does speed come to play in our chart? Okay, good job, Markella. I answer shortly. Okay. Woo! Good God. Okay, now. Oh, yes, I remember your chart. Boo.
Stop it.
Okay. So, who wants to have a crack at, okay, what do they see? What is something that they see in Sophia's chart, and where?
It's a lot going on in that corner.
The 12th house.
In what house?
The 12th house.
Okay, are you sure that's the 12th house? Now, naturally,
Well, for her, it's her first house.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. What constellation is that?
Pisces.
Okay, now, what do we know about Pisces energy?
Pisces is mutable.
Mm-hmm. And go ahead. Okay, it's mutable and
It's a feminine energy.
Go ahead.
It's a feminine energy.
Okay.
Um.
And what house is this in for her? You said her first, right?
Right. So that's the personality, house of self.
Correct. And so she has 3 planets in this house, which is what we call a stellium. Okay. Now, when you have 3 or more planets in the house, this shows that there's a huge concentration in your life in this house. Okay. Another very, 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 very interesting combination in Sophia's chart. Okay. And remember, I talked about conjunctions, what they mean, what they can do, and also how, you know, I'm able to see into spiritual gifts for some people. Now, K2 is the planet of spirituality, past life, chaos. And then the moon is also what? What is the moon? What did we say the moon was?
Emotions.
It's emotions. It's also spirituality, imagination, intuition. This particular combination shows spiritual gifts, like off top. Like, it's just no way around it. It's spiritual gifts. And because moon is also dealing with mom and motherhood and fertility, this also can contribute to certain things in the birthing process or fertility with women. Okay. So if it's not, you know, there are no children, it's either some kind of thing where children are born like in the sack, or like some crazy happenstance in the mall, or there's just something that can be considered chaos around the birth of this particular child, of a birthing experience Sophia may have. Okay. And so when I look at this chart, there's certain things that say all these possibilities that can happen, because I understand the energy of the house, the area in life, the degrees of the planet, and what the planets mean. The second part of accurately channeling is the meditation part, the spiritual work, the getting in tune to that person. That's why my mentor was like, girl, okay, you can read books all day, but you need to meditate. It gets to a point where you look at this and now it's like, you look at this, but it's like, this is Spanish, but I know how to interpret it, right? So now, Sophia, based on what you know about yourself, okay, and again, share what you will, share whatever. How do these placements speak to you or show up in your life? When it comes to your first house in Pisces, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th house, sickness, disease, obstacles, challenges, and then the moon energy, K2, kind of the things that I went over. Or whatever you want to share in your chart. It doesn't have to be what I said. Hello? Oh, is she on mute? I don't know what happened.
Girl, I was talking on mute. Sorry.
Oh, I was like, girl, did I say something wrong? Okay, go ahead.
Like, what's going on? So I was saying, when you first mentioned about the mutable, you know, the definition of a mutable sign right off the bat, I was thinking about how, and I know we're not talking about the other chart, but I feel like I'm on the cusp, but we can verify that as well.
Yeah.
But I do like initiating, but I find myself having a lot of unfinished projects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I have the drive to get it going, but then somewhere along the line, it kind of just fizzles out, or my mind goes to something else. So I'm kind of in between, but I do like to jump from one thing to the other.
Okay. So let's break that down. I'm so glad you said that. So you talked about a cardinal energy, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what's the ruling planet of your first house?
The ruling planet.
What's the ruling planet of Pisces? We went over that earlier.
Lord, I missed that one.
Does anybody else know the ruling planet of Pisces?
Is it Venus?
No. What was the second one? Not Venus. What else?
Jupiter.
Correct. Where is Jupiter for her?
In Libra.
Okay. What energy is Libra? Is it fixed?
Relationships, right?
Is it?
Libra is cardinal.
Oh, well, there goes your cardinal energy, ma'am. So, and this is why you're the mixture of both. I can start stuff, but I just don't finish. I'm all over the place because I change up stuff. Well, okay, yeah, your Pisces rising, which is mutable energy, right? But the ruling planet of your first house energy is in a cardinal sign, right? Not to mention, what did we talk about, these groupings of the houses, right? So you have planets in another house that's cardinal energy. Okay, you're another cardinal energy, which is Capricorn, right? Capricorn cardinal energy, where's that ruling planet? In your second house of finance. You see, so you have a cardinal energy, that ruling planet is in a cardinal house. Your ruling planet of your first house is in a cardinal energy. So, and this is why, going back to the degrees, the strengths, the conjunctions, because now we're able to see, is she 60% cardinal, 40% mutable? Is she 30, 80, 20, or whatever the math is? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Like 25. So when we're able to understand the strength of each energy, it's like, oh, okay, now I see why I'm like this or I'm not like that. And in situations where I need to be this, I understand this is what I have to do now to cultivate that. Because the whole purpose, while everybody's all on this spiritual journey, find myself, we're all different. We're all expressions of source, and at the same time, if we all know everything is in us, then that means that when certain things need to happen or get done, we should be able to activate certain parts of ourselves. Right or wrong?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It ain't like y'all missing planets in a chart. Everybody got the same planets in the same chart. Everybody got the same houses. It's just that, okay, you know what, Sophia? Okay, so your first house of self, second house finance, family happiness, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, sickness, health, wealth, disease, healing, 7th, 8th house, and 12th. These are priority in your divine assignment in this life. Why? Because when you were born, universe was like, yo, I got to make sure some personalities is all up in this jank. These houses these areas in life exist, but these houses don't do nothing. But I mean, not saying in your life, but there's no planets here. That's for a reason. It's for a reason. You were born with certain, and I'm talking about the fact that you got 3 in your first house in Pisces. You got your Dharma planet in your 12th house, and y'all all can read what that's about. You got, 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th. You got the planet of wisdom and expansion in your 8th house. We all know what that's about. You got K2 and Moon in the house of healing. Girl, are you kidding me right now? Wait. Hold up. 6. Wait, hold up, Lord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Y'all tell me what grouping of houses Sophia have. Wow. That's so crazy. I learn something new every day. I love this.
Lord, I didn't get
What grouping of houses is 6, 8, and 12?
Dharma, right?
The group, remember when we went
Insight into blockages.
Come on now. Sophia, we can get into gifts because now I'm starting to get pulled into that direction, but I don't want to go there. But the fact that you have like divine assignments in 6th, 8th, and 12th house energy says a lot. And I want you to reflect on the quote unquote blockages, adversity, all that stuff you've been through. You know what I mean? The things that come up for you, your ability to detach and channel, and you go into these retreats and these spaces. And I'm only speaking to Sophia like this because I've worked with her for a long, I've known her for a long time. Not like she's been like on my couch or nothing, but I've known her. I've seen her. You know what I'm saying? I've seen so I know, and she knows.
But I'd love to be on your couch one day.
Yeah, I know, you're so funny. But, so again, part of her divine assignment has a lot to do with adversity and blockage. Not to mean that she will go through them, but her power here, her gift here is about allowing people to get through them. And that's a part of her work. What do you do for your job?
I'm actually an IT consultant, but so we don't know how to.
I mean, but at the end of the day, that's still a job where you're helping people with blockages and problems.
Figuring out stuff. I love fixing problems.
Exactly.
Yes.
Come on now, right? And so then, I mean, and again, the fact that IT is an Aquarian trait because it's innovativeness, it's engineering, it's all these things. And so the fact that your Aquarian energy contributes to your second house of finance, I mean, that's no coincidence either. So again, there's so many things that we can go deep into, but when you really understand, this is where the work is at, y'all. Like, it's one thing to know your houses, it's one thing to know what the planets stand for, but the real work is, how do I put all this information together and see myself and see the possibilities? Now, there's certain areas in life where Sophia may just not have no interest at all because it's not a part of her divine assignment. Not to say the interest is never there, but it may not be a priority. And if you want it to be a priority, great. Well, what combination can we put in there according to who I am, and it's going to be the most successful experience as possible? So this is just a system. I don't care if it's Orishas, THRU, tarot cards, I don't care what it is. But this is a system that go around all your houses. And I'm talking about talk to yourself through all your houses, all your areas of life, and really do an assessment. Am I happy here? What is strong? What is weak? Take a look at all those planets. Assess yourself. And thank you, Sophia. Thank you for sharing. You know, my Venus energy, my Sun, my Mercury, all those traits. Are they strong or are they weak? And this is considering or not considering the degrees. Just do it for yourself. Because it's all about balance. And sometimes we'll focus one area in life so much and then forget about everything else. You know what I mean? So I hope that example kind of helped. And again, as lessons go on, like, there's more case studies and like recordings where, you know, these things happen and they come up, and, you know, we got to we'll be able to write our own prescriptions based on who we are. So last thing for you, Sophia, if there's an area in life that you're working on right now, what is it?
It's actually discipline. As above, so below.
No, absolutely. Okay. And so again, when you pulled up your chart, was your Saturn retrograde?
Oh gosh.
Did it have an R?
Let me see.
Or your third house? Okay, it was not. Okay. So
It was Jupiter, right?
2,
Saturn right here.
Yeah, Saturn right there. House. Oh, Jupiter's retrograde. Okay.
Oh my, the whole planet.
Yeah. So okay, and Jupiter retrograde is okay. So let's do it this way. The planets, again, assessing what they are and how they show up for us. All right. Jupiter retrograde, I'm gonna just say, does promote an energy of laziness. Why? Jupiter is the biggest planet. It's about expansion. It is about it does. It's about philosophy, wisdom, knowledge, and all this other stuff.
I'm doing that because you're telling the truth. That's
I know because my Jupiter retrograde, and because
I'm a lazy genius.
Yeah, like Jupiter, because it's about expansion and stuff. You know, it's another planet of luxury. So Jupiter, Moon, and Venus promote laziness. Saturn retrograde promotes laziness. Mars retrograde says I need fire lit under my ass. You know, but because Jupiter is just like, oh, I thought too much, or oh, I'm just mentally, philosophically, like, oh, I just want to, you know what I'm saying? Venus is just like, oh, I'm just so dainty, and, you know, I don't want to work. I'm too, you know, those kind of things can promote laziness on many levels. So, I mean, yeah. So again, how do we focus okay, perfect example. So you're saying I need more discipline. So I would look at your third house of efforts. Your third house is Taurus. Taurus is ruled by what? Venus. Venus is an immutable energy. Oh, okay. So yes, your efforts are mutable. They're fickle. I see. Right? So then, not to mention, okay, the ruling planet of your first house is Jupiter retrograde. So we really have to, so because Jupiter deals with philosophy, religion, you know, higher philosophical education, your laziness can be resolved through belief systems. You know, once your belief system changes, so will your energy. Like, people are either lazy because their physical energy level is just tired, or they feel no value in what they're doing. So therefore they're not motivated. Jupiter retrograde energy is more of a, you know, I'm lazy because how I place my value on this thing. My philosophy on this thing. If your philosophy on that thing was really on the importance, wouldn't be there. You know what I mean? So again, these are ways to go in and really tell, okay, this is here's the blockage and here's why. Okay, this is why that's that way. So let me go ahead and reverse that by doing this. So yeah, I hope that helped. Okay, so any other questions? Oh, wait, let me check on here. Okay, damn, I'm super lazy. Jupiter and Mercury all retrograde. I'm in IT also. Work smart, not hard. You know what? That was smart. That was smart. Because now here's the thing, right? It's so crazy because when we're battling these lazy moments or this lazy energy, so not only do we have to work on trying to reverse this characteristic in ourselves, but now I also got to pay attention and give energy to the actual task that I have to do. You know what I'm saying? So now that's double energy. So instead of saying, okay, you know what? I can really do all the work necessary to not be really lazy, or I can move into a career where my lack of energy isn't considered lazy. I could just use it in a more wise way. I could sit back and delegate. You know what I'm saying? So again, and that's another thing we're going to cover in life purpose and career. What is your Dharma type? What is your, are you dependent, high class dependent, or just independent? And that's another lesson. But it shows, okay, why certain people who try to be entrepreneurs, why you may have more issue than one who is meant to be independent. Not to say you can never be that, but here's why you're having issue. Let's explore which areas in life are going to get better over time or that are causing blockages, and here's how we find the remedy, right? So, and as far as speed, Markella, you know, I really don't use that concept at all. I'm more so about the strength of planets and the conjunctions, like who they're with together, and then the last part about the Mahadashas. And we'll get into that later because everything is about timing. Everything is about cycles. Women go through a cycle, men go through a cycle, the planets go through a cycle. So understanding timing is very important as well. So again, all these concepts are in you, all these things, principles are in you, all these energies are in you. And again, as we're going along, it's about activating it and coming up with a strategy, a plan. So I don't care if the rest of y'all, well, I do care because I like y'all, but if y'all don't come to the rest of them. But my point is this: when you're done, I really would like for y'all to seriously take time out for yourself and visit each of your houses and say what I like about it and what I want to improve. Really go through your life, through your houses, say what you like, what you want to improve, or your thoughts about it, journal about it. Okay, so another thing was, I feel like, wait, I'm missing something. What else? So life purpose,